All right, we're going to do the free response, first free response for our review day 18, and this was given to the class just a couple of years ago. They gave this differential equation, and then they were asked to sketch the equation that goes through 0, 2, which is that point, and then 1, 0. So this one really freaked them out because at 0, 2, you can see that the slope field looks pretty much horizontal. And in fact, that's exactly what the AP wanted you to do. They just wanted you to follow that horizontal line, and if you did that, you got a point for that. Okay, so they were really nervous. They thought, how could it be this simple? The other one's not as simple, right? You got to follow these slope lines, and again, you'd want to just kind of let yourself kind of flow and do what's being suggested here. And as long as you do that, you should have something that looks roughly about that. And if you do, then you get a second point for that. Okay, so not too bad. Part B says that we have the differential equation with f of 1 equals 0. We want a tangent line there and use it to approximate 0.7. So again, as soon as we see tangent line, we're thinking point, slope. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 1, 0 for the point. If we put 1, 0 in, we get 1/3 times 1 times -2 squared. That's 1/3 times 4, which is 4/3. So that's our slope. So our equation y minus 0 equals 4/3 times x minus 1. They gave 1 point for that. So it wasn't a separate point for here and another point for that. It was just 1 point for this. And then we would say, using this, that f of 0.7 is approximately 4/3 times 0.7 minus 1. So that gives us 4/3 times -0.3, which is a -3/10. And that gives us a -2/5 or -0.4. Now, technically, if you weren't sure, you could just leave it, and that is your approximation, but they gave you a point for doing that right there. Okay? And then the last step here says to find the particular. So this is our separation of variables, what we've been working on for a while here. So we're going to take our initial and we're going to divide by y minus 2 squared. So we're going to get dy over y minus 2 squared equal to 1/3 x dx. If you did that separation, you got a point. Now this side, when we go to integrate, I'm going to bring that y minus 2 as a -2 up. And then this is going to be 1/3 x squared over 2 plus c. You actually got a point for doing that. And we'll clean that up in a second. And this one, again, if it was y to the -2, you wouldn't even hesitate to make it y to the -1 over -1. It's no different when this thing still has a derivative of dy. So it's going to be y minus 2 to the -1 over -1 on this side. And if you did that, you got a point. Okay. Now we're going to do a little cleanup here. This becomes -1 over y minus 2, and this becomes 1/6 x squared plus c. Let's go ahead and put 1 in for x and 0 in for y. We're going to get a -1 over -2, so we get a positive half equal to 1/6 plus c. If you subtract 1/6 from that, you're going to end up with 1/3 as your c value. That was given, you got a point for that. Okay, and if we put it back in, we get a -1 over y minus 2 equals 1/6 x squared plus 1/3. We're going to go ahead and multiply everything by negative. So 1 over y minus 2 equals a -1/6 x squared minus 1/3. We're going to flip everything now. So y minus 2 equals, and you can do it as 1 over -1/6 x squared minus 1/3. That's totally fine. If you want to make it look a little nicer, you can get a common denominator of 6 here. So really, this becomes -x squared minus 2 over 6. And then when it flips over, it becomes 6 over -x squared minus 2. All right. And then at that point, we'll go ahead and bring the 2 over. So it's y equals 2 plus 6 over -x squared minus 2. Again, if you had it as your other thing looking a little more complicated, you get the point still. But that's our final answer. So we should be able to separate without any problem. You should be able to integrate this easy. If you messed up a little bit here, as long as you took your equation and found C correctly, you get a point for that. Don't know about your last one, but 3 or 4 points for sure should come to us on this one. So looking over 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a few, I mean, we should be able to get 7 on something like that without any trouble.